What is good, Ninja? OJ over here from PlayerEssence, and welcome to the Nintendo Switch and gaming news video. Today we've got some interesting information for you guys, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So THQ Nordic recently had an interview with GameIndustry.biz where they discussed a variety of things. There was so much information, so I definitely want to point you guys over to the description below. Make sure you check out the full interview. They talk about THQ beforehand, what went right, what went wrong, what they're trying to do at THQ Nordic, and more. But particularly for this video, we're going to focus on what they had to say about the Nintendo Switch. This somehow got spun into hour-long podcasts from so-called Nintendo fans, and then people that continue to say the same type of nonsense as if anything is going to change based on what was said right here, as if anything is going to change based on anything. But anyway, before I get into rant mode, let's go ahead and get into the article here as far as what they had to say. Now, one of the things that they had to say in this interview is they talked about how supporting the Nintendo Switch and how that's going, not many titles that they have for it, and here is what they had to say on the matter. Let's get into some of the article and then the quotations. This is partly due to the firm's belief that the Nintendo 3DS will soon be replaced by the Switch. So they're talking about why they're going to start supporting the system. Despite Nintendo's assertions to the contrary and relatively low power available in the platform's holder's new console, talk about the Nintendo Switch, Police, that's the name of the person they're interviewing, from THQ Nordic, notes that even Battle Chasers, a 2D turn-based RPG game based on comics by notable artist Joe, don't know how to say his last name, has been a challenge to get running smoothly on the Nintendo Switch. An open world sci-fi RPG, LX, is just too demanding right now. And then here's the actual quotes from what he had to say as well. We've been in touch with Nintendo about Switch for more than a year. So we've been looking at it for our current lineup, and we look wherever it's possible. It's a bit sad that they haven't gone out with a more beefy hardware, but it is what it is. So we'll just have to work around it. So that is kind of the comment that has sparked many, of course, the debates and everything, as if this wasn't already something that's known from January. When we talked about this, as if third-party developers wouldn't want Nintendo if they're going to make PS4 and Xbox One games with all sorts of unoptimized code, 50 gigabytes, powerful systems, or somewhat powerful systems, and they want it to be exactly the same as PS4. They're not making a clone. Of course they're going to say stuff like, I wish we would have done this, completely ignoring the fact that the system probably would have flopped in Japan if it was another PS4 clone, just like the PS4 has kind of flopped in Japan so far. So completely ignoring all that, they're just worried about themselves, which is fine. That's what third-party developers do for the most part. They're worried about themselves, how their games are going to run, and all that. I have no issue with that, but this is not something that is new. As far as my opinion on it, it's something that I've already known. So people were telling me, what are your thoughts? Are they, oh, what do you think? I'm like, I already knew this, that third-party developers would want them to make a PS4 or Xbox One clone or a system that's as powerful as those ones, so they don't have to optimize, so they don't have to do the workarounds like they said, because they don't have to do all that. They don't care about the hybrid nature of the system. They're a Western developer. They're mainly looking at selling their games in the Western audience, and a lot of the Western audience just like stationary consoles, or maybe they don't even know if they want a console that can be portable and home console. People are figuring out that's what they want, and the Switch is selling so well, but to them it's not something that's necessarily negotiable with whether they're going to do all the work in order to get it to run the system. Nintendo Switch is definitely easier to port as far as games go from the Wii U, or in terms of the technology architecture that it uses, but that doesn't mean it doesn't take time in order to port these games to get a quality version of it. And one of the games they said can't even run right now, or just be too demanding at this point, which Nintendo already knew. Everyone who was looking at the situation already knew. This is definitely not new news. This is just something that they're saying that a lot of third-party developers have probably already expressed, or possibly already are thinking to themselves. Now, when it comes to Western, when it comes to Japanese developers, they're very excited about this platform because the Japanese audience likes the portable gaming nature of the system. So you're going to get a lot of developers who don't make games that are super high graphically demanding, or are right there and they can work around it and put games out on the Switch from Japanese developers like Square Enix. We're going to have Koei Tecmo. There's going to be Bandai Namco putting stuff like Xenoverse 2, which is a PS4 and Xbox One game. Dragon Ball FighterZ is probably going to come at some point as well, and I think more games are going to come from Bandai Namco too. So to me, it's not something that's new. I don't necessarily have a negative or, oh, we're going to be mad opinion. Why? This is something that I've already been talking about since January. So to me, nothing new, and if they can bring their games over, that's great. If they can't bring them over, That's unfortunate, but that's okay. That's why you buy a PS4 or Xbox One. If it's that important to you, buy the system that it's going to be on. Support it. Support all the different systems when you can. And I did want to briefly talk about him saying Battle Chasers Night War was having trouble running smoothly on the Nintendo Switch. And I don't think that's necessarily a case of power. That's more of a case of optimization and whatever engine it runs on. Let's just be honest here, guys. On the PS3, we had games that looked like this and like this. Battle Chasers Night War looks like this. It's a 2D RPG that, even when it goes into the 3D mode, isn't anything impressive or crazy. I mean, there's vanillaware games that look better. There's various other titles on last generation platforms on Wii U that look better than this game and that run well, and developers didn't have a problem at all. So maybe that's more of an optimization thing. I'm familiar with the hardware. Basically needing to write the code better over. Not really sure about that one, but I can't sit here and take what he has to say seriously about Battle Chasers Night War, a game that looks like that, and compare that to what we've seen before in the past on weaker systems. Can't really take what he has to say there too seriously, outside of them being a little bit incompetent when it comes to the engine that it's running on and how it's being ported over to the Nintendo Switch. I don't really think that has anything to do with the power, just because that game, even in the same art style, we've seen games that surpass it on last generation platforms. So not really sure about that one. Alright, and moving on to the next article here. Andrew Samson, the developer for Rainway, he is showing off a new picture of Doom running on Android via Rainway app over a 4G light connection at 1080p 60 frames per second. He also answered a ton of questions in the comment section as far as the Twitter post goes, but once again, it's great to see Andrew posting up some stuff. I know there was some controversy, I think it was from the Daily Dot or whatever, that used one of my videos to push inaccurate facts about what Mr. Samson and what the Rainway team was trying to do on the Nintendo Switch, and I'm very thankful. I responded to him and he said, hey man, I watch your videos. I definitely know that you're not pushing that false information. It's that website that was pushing that, so that's really cool. But yes, Doom is going to be able to work when it comes to via the Rainway app. You got that good 4G connection. You'll be able to play at 1080p 60. He talked about latency and various other things, but his connection wasn't blazing fast. He said that right before he did the testing, he said it was at 8 megabytes per second. And he said that he also has a gigabyte home internet, which is where the game was being streamed from. So definitely very good stuff there. They're making progress. You're going to be able to use this Rainway app even on the Nintendo Switch. You can tether it to your phone and be able to stream. I don't know how well it's going to work based on your internet connection, but based on what he's running through here, looks like things are going to look pretty good when it comes to the Nintendo Switch version of this app. Remember, this was not via Nintendo Switch. This was via Android and the Rainway app, but this same type of functionality will be coming to Nintendo Switch based on what they've had to say there, based on all the testing and all the stuff that he's already shown off when it comes to Overwatch, when it comes to Batman and other games that he's shown. So I'm excited and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do, not only for the Nintendo Switch, but also for Android and other platforms as well. Alright, and moving on to the next article here, the Nippon Ichi president discussed a variety of topics in a recent AMA on Reddit. He discussed Disgaea amiibo interest, the next game in the Disgaea franchise being likely for the Nintendo Switch, Phantom Brave 2 possibility, and so much more. But we are going to move to some of the more interesting topics, so let's get into the discussion on Disgaea amiibo. Quote, "We would love to make Disgaea amiibo. Let's get a petition going. We'll need 1 million signatures. Hopefully that will get Nintendo on board." Then he discussed if the next Disgaea game will be on the Nintendo Switch, and here's what he had to say: most likely, ... So yes, I would definitely say so, especially since Disgaea 5 did pretty well based on the pre-order numbers and the sales that they've already talked about. Then he also discussed a Phantom Brave sequel, saying, "This was a story that I originally did not have a sequel planned for. However, there are many people at NIS that have asked the same question, and some that even joined the company with desires to creating a sequel. I would love to see these people get together and perhaps create a Phantom Brave 2. And then he also talked about Nintendo Switch interest in general, and he had this to say, quote, "Currently, we don't have any plans to release past Disgaea games on the Nintendo Switch, but if things go well with Disgaea 5 Complete, this is definitely something we would like to look into. So that's really cool. Disgaea 5, obviously, this full sales numbers for the year definitely need to come out. We need to see how well it does over time, especially after price drops, because it's still $59.99. But if that does even better, then we can probably see past Disgaea games on the Nintendo Switch, because Nintendo fans have shown that yes, they want this game. But the next game, I think the big news out of this is that the next game is likely to come to Nintendo Switch, and I don't see why you wouldn't. You're not going to have spec issues. They've already talked about how Disgaea 5 was a pretty much seamless transition over from the PS4 to the Nintendo Switch. They like the sales so far as the Western territories go, and I think that the next Disgaea game is a perfect fit on the Nintendo Switch. And if it launches day and date with the PS4 version, I think that the Nintendo Switch version, by the time that version is made, as far as the next Disgaea, I honestly feel that the Nintendo Switch version could beat it out, because it's a portable and it's a home console. You get the best of both worlds, and it's going to look pretty much the same. Disgaea 5 on the Nintendo Switch looks the same as Disgaea 5 on the PS4, so you're not going to have any disparity there. You're just going to have more functionality with the Nintendo Switch version of the game. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. I really love Disgaea 5. I haven't got as much time to play it as I would have liked, but every single minute that I spent with it has been pretty fun. I think the characters are interesting, the writing's pretty good, and the combat is also really awesome in terms of the strategy RPG elements. Let me know what you guys think about all of these topics in the comment section below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We've got Facebook, we've got Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on all of our social media. It really helps to spread the content of PlayerEssence across the interwebs, in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon page. Pledge any tier to be entered in to win some awesome prizes. In addition to that, we have $10 prize eShop tournament for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Splatoon 2, ARMS, and more. Plus, we have Discord voice chat for all of our live streams. So support PE Live and PE Arena right here on PlayerEssence. Also, make sure you hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest news, reviews, discussions, and more. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you for the next video. Peace.